All right, now let's back to page, thank you, chapter 7, the Buddhist path, on page 179, paragraph 2nd. No, sorry. 180. So it's about the hindrances and the limbs of dhyana. Okay. Right.
Oh, okay. The hindrances and the limbs of dhyana. The basic instruction for beginning meditation are very simple. One finds a quiet place and sits down in a cross-legged position, and arousing the appropriate motivation, one gently places the mind's attention on whatever is the particular object of meditation. Inevitably, the meditator finds that his or her mind wanders, and the attention must be repeatedly brought back to the object of meditation. The reason the mind fails to become absorbed in the object of meditation is twofold. On the one hand, the mind is prey to the 5 hindrances already mentioned. On the other hand, it has not developed sufficient skill in bringing the object to mind, or in technical terminology, the 5 limbs of dhyana are not sufficiently strong.
All right, good. Okay, next one. Who's going to read?
You can pass.
You can start here, I guess. No, you will start here, that may be easier. Yeah.
Okay. In principle, something of the process of overcoming the hindrances and developing the factors of dhyana can be observed whenever the mind is applied to any new task that requires a certain mental application and dexterity. Take the example of certain mental application. Take the example of learning to play a musical instrument. In order to progress, one needs to practice regularly and patiently. Almost inevitably, at times, other less taxing activities seem much more attractive, and pleasurable than struggling with one's practice. This is the first hindrance of desire for the object of the senses. At times, one may become frustrated, irritated, and angry, seeing faults in one's musical instrument or teacher, or using the fact the neighbors are making too much noise as a reason for not persevering with one's practice. This is the second hindrance of ill will. Or the very thought of one's practice may make one feel tired and drowsy. Yet when one thinks of doing something else that the mind finds more interesting, suddenly one feels wide awake and alert. This is the third hindrance of tiredness and sleepiness. Or one may suddenly become overexcited at one's progress, or depressed at what one sees as one's lack of progress. This is the fourth hindrance of excitement and depression. Finally, one may doubt the whole enterprise, asking oneself what the point is in learning to play a musical instrument anyway. Just as anyone wishing to make progress in the learning of a musical instrument must acquire some measure of control over such hindrances, so the meditator intent on developing his meditation subject must deal with these immediate defilements of the mind.
All right, thank you. Yeah, okay.
Again, at the outset of learning to play the guitar or piano, the beginner must very consciously think where to put each individual finger. At the same time, one must begin to pay attention to the subtler aspects of just how one places a finger on a key or plucks a string. One must pay attention to the subtle differences this gives to the quality and length of a note. These two aspects of paying attention to an object of consciousness are referred to in Buddhist psychology as vitarka.
Vitarka.
And vichakra.
Vichara.
Which can be rendered very approximately as application of thought and examining. These are the first two of the 5 limbs of dhyana. When these two aspects of thinking are developed in the context of a particular skill we're trying to learn, a certain kind of quickening occurs. Suddenly, the mind is enlivened by its faculty in the task at hand.
Facility, not faculty.
In the task at hand, and begins to take pleasure in it. In consequence, it begins to feel more at ease and content. This is the arising of the next two limbs of dhyana: joy, piti,
Priti.
and
Piti. Piti.
piety,
Mm.
and happiness, sukha. And as the mind feels happy and content, it becomes less distracted and more absorbed in whatever it is doing. This is the arising of the fifth limb of dhyana, namely one-pointedness of the mind.
Chitta ekagrata.
Ekagrata,
Mhm.
which is another term for concentration or collectedness, samadhi itself. In the case of meditation practice, the mind ceases to seek out new objects of consciousness and becomes unified, resting on one object of consciousness without any tendency to move.
All right, why don't we just move there and then let's just move there and then we can discuss later. Move on. The sight and the stage of joy. Yeah.
Sign and the stage of joy, the overcoming of the five hindrances and the coming into balance of these five limbs or
Dhyana.
dhyana is, according to the later manuals, equivalent to the mind becoming settled in exercise.
No. Access.
Exercise concentration, a state of mind on the
Threshold.
On the threshold of dhyana. The manuals describe the stages leading to a exercise concentration in two different ways. See table 5. In fact, Uptisa and Buddhagasa give an account in terms of three successful mental image or signs,
Nimitta.
nimitta, and 5 stages of joy, piti,
Mhm.
where
Why asanga?
asanga and vusubhasa,
No wusu. Vasubantu.
Vasubandhu, the father of the Yogacara.
No. Yogachara.
Yogacara, the tradition of Mahayana thought, detail 9 stages of the settling of the mind,
Stiti.
sthiti. Also, they two make reference to the mental image,
Pratibimba. Pratibimba.
Pratibimba. Seen in meditation, I will not go into the details of the later account here, but it has come to have great authority for Tibetan manuals of meditation.
All right. Okay. The next one. You want to read? Yeah.
Okay. The concept of the
Nimitta.
nimitta is most easily explained with reference to meditation on the colored discs. To undertake this kind of meditation, the meditator should first prepare a disc of...
Is it so boring when you read that? It's so like very boring subject. Could you read it more exciting? Otherwise, I will fall asleep to to undertake this kind. Yeah.
First prepare a disc of the appropriate color. He should then set it up in front of him and sitting down, begin to try to place his attention on the disc. The initial and
Preparatory.
sign, parikama
Nimitta.
is the gross physical object. After some practice, the meditator will no longer need the actual physical object to contemplate, but will be able to visualize the object in his mind directly. The object of meditation is now the awkward sign.
Ukaha.
Nimitta.
Please remember the term nimitta. That's when you learn samadhi meditation is a very important term. Okay. Okay.
As the meditator investigates and explores the acquired sign, then eventually arise the counterpart sign,
Patibhaga.
Patihaga Nimitta. The arising of the counterpart side is current with the containment of excess concentration, whereas the acquired sign is mental visualization of the physical object exactly as it appears. An
Eidetic, yeah. That's
eidetic
good.
image. The counterpart sign is purified conceptual image free of any marks and
Blemishes.
In the case of, say, the white or red disc of mind, the mind becomes completely absorbed in the concept of whiteness or redness. The arising of the counterpart sign is compared to the moon coming out of behind clouds.
All right, next one. No, then you back here, yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. I have already mentioned how, as the mind becomes familiar with the object of meditation, it is enlivened and begins to feel more at ease. The stages of this process are charted rather exactly in the list of the 5 kinds of joy. Thus, in the initial stage of slight joy, simply raises the hair of the body. Momentary joy comes like repeated flashes of lightning, while descending joy is stronger and washes over the body again and then subsides. Transporting joy has the power to lift the body into the air. A Thai meditation manual written at the turn of the last century describes it as follows. When transporting joy arises, it is very strong. It makes the whole body shake and tremble. The meditator will fall to the left or to the right, bow down, clap hands and feet, sit down, stand up, and then run around filled with strange emotions. Meditators will cry and laugh and will not be able to shut their eyes or mouth. The veins will protrude and the blood feel hot and cold. The body will feel as it is expanding and will levitate the length of a finger span, a cubit, or an arm's length.
All right, and then next one. Sure.
To me?
Okay, we can. It's all right, you can go this way too. It's easier.
We are counselled that such phenomena are not sign of madness. Rather, they indicate the progress of one's meditation practice. Eventually, the mind settles in suffusion joy. This kind of joy pervades the whole body, touching every part, and is likened to water flooding into a rock cave. The spiritual
Niramisa.
Niramisa joy felt in meditation is contrasted by the tradition with carnal samisa joy. The point here seems not so much to suggest sexual pleasure as mere metaphor for spiritual joy, but rather to indicate that the increasing joy experienced as the mind gradually becomes settled and calm in meditation parallels in a real sense the stages of sexual excitement and enjoyment. Indeed, it is in such terms that some contemporary Buddhist monks describe their meditation experience. The kinds of joy and signs are in fact indicative of the variety of visual and physical phenomena that may accompany meditation. Such phenomena seem to be something of an universal in the experience and lives of contemplative from whatever religious tradition.
All right, next one.
With the suppression of the 5 hindrances and the rising of the counterpart sign, or in Asanga's terms, with the attainment of the 9th stage of the settling of the mind, consciousness reaches the relative peace and quiet and clarity of excess concentration. This is distinguished from absorption or dhyana probably by virtue of the fact that, although fully present, the 5 limbs of dhyana are weak and unstable and liable to fail. The meditator, who will then fall from the state of concentration, rather like a child who takes his first tentative steps and then falls in a heap. With practice, the meditator achieves skill in absorption. The most ancient description of this process is as follows.
Yeah, next one. Yeah.
abandoning these 5 hindrances, which are defilements of the mind and the weakened understanding, quite secluded from the objects of sense desire and unwholesome states, he attains the first jhana, a state of joy and happiness born of
Seclusion.
and accompanied by application of thoughts and examine. He soaks, pervades,
Pervade or pervade.
feels, and
Suffuses.
this very body with that joy and happiness born of seclusion, such that there is no part of his whole body that is not suffused by that joy and happiness born of seclusion. It is as if a skilled bath attendant or his apprentice.
Yes, apprentice.
Okay. Having sprinkled bath powder onto a bronze tray, were to
Knead it.
it together evenly with drops of water,
Mhm.
such that the bowl of bath powder is covered and filled with moisture. It's suffused with moisture within and without, and yet does not drip.
Right, thank you. That actually is a famous kind of statement from a sutta.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, any comments and question or what? Yeah.
The different stages of joy, like, do they come, like, does everyone have all the different joys, like, and like as you get more joyful, the next level starts, or like does it vary by person?
Why don't we just look at the table 5, okay? And the table 5 have saying that the ascending stages of calm meditation. Now let's just look at, just look at the table first, and then we'll just try to explain that too. So in the table, you do find there were 2 kind of draft here. One is the kind of from the manual Buddhaghosa stage of calm, right? And the other one is Asanga stage of calm. And please bear in mind, the Asanga stage of calm is a Yogacara method, and which is why if you learn Tibetan school, they will teach you this. But if you learn the Theravada school, they will teach you on the left one, the Buddhaghosa, because of tradition. But they all, when you look at the chart, they all will reach the same thing called a concentration. Okay, or you could say that simply say access concentration. Okay. Now the 5 kind of joy actually is one way of testing how you could reach that. Even though I never teach this myself, but because this is more complicated, and I don't like to teach that because nowadays it's different from old day. Nowadays people are so much care about their body. But actually there's a way you could check, there's a kind of fight when you learn your whatever kind of meditation subject, because you simply recognize there's a kind of joy there, and the joy can be different from different. Ultimately, it will be just suffuse your whole body, and your nimitta will appear like that. That's one method. Just take it as one method, which I think is a little complicated to talk about. But here looks like interesting, I guess. Actually, my understanding, Rupert Gethin used to learn meditation from a Thai monk. And in Thai, this is interesting. This is also my understanding. Sometimes the Thai have much more tradition to talk about this than the other way. Okay? But in Sri Lanka, mostly we talk about the middle way, the middle one, the preparatory side, acquired side, and counterpart side. Okay? But if you learn the Tibetan, which I also teach that before, then you can learn the 9 stages of mind in order to reach the access concentration. So I'm not here to answer you the experience side, because experience side is, we are still learning the theory now, okay? Just understand they could be, anyway, you could somehow now know, in order to reach access concentration, or you could kind of like knowing whether you are in access concentration, that kind of stages, I mean, if there was really clear stages for you, then you will go through these kind of stages. Yeah.
So I shouldn't take it as just because I haven't never run around yet, like, doesn't mean counterpart sign has never appeared.
No, I mean, that's why when you learn, it's the teacher asks you to do that, you just do that. You don't just shift the other. Some people, they tell me when they meditate, they feel their physical body become this and that. I never say wrong. I just say, don't pay attention on this because you do on the side. Because I find that this is my own finding. I don't mean that I'm correct, but I won't say not wrong. I didn't wrong, but I just do not encourage people to do the joy within the physical experience. But the text actually did mention that too. You know, but like if there's some teacher maybe they deny that, oh, that's not completely wrong. It's not wrong. It's there was other way to do that because it's mentioned in the Buddhist text. But since I think it's more complicated to talk because unless you really owe everybody in meditation for a long time, they know this kind the subtleness. Otherwise, people think, I sit there, I feel very nice, and it's very hard to describe that. Maybe to me, it's much easier to talk about these two: the preparatory side, acquired side, and cultivated side, or the student of mind and continuous student and so forth, than these 5. I just want to say the differences, but it doesn't mean they are not working. Okay, but in Buddhist text, definitely have this kind of description. Okay.
So when we notice the good feelings in our body or something, does it mean it's like we're still having the sense desire hindrance?
Here mentioned there already. Why you have this? Certainly at first because you started to subdue your hindrances already. This is how, not because what you gain. It's not because you're lost. It's because by subduing the hindrances, the stages of this kind of joy will arise.
So just because you're noticing, because
No. I think you don't have to pay too much attention on that yet. I want to say like that. If you have the access concentration, and next time if you meditate, every time you could do access concentration, you could just simply see how your physical body, it will make this comes to your same thing. Because almost like some people teach you how to read the mark. How you reach this temple, let's say you come from east side, or everybody come from east side, how you reach the temple, there's a mark there. Then some people tell the mark is because of roadside, some people tell the mark is because of a few big shops. When you saw the shop, you need to turn, right? There's a certain marks there. Understand what I mean? But I guess, I think to see the shop is difficult. To see the roadside is much easier first. Every time you reach the roadside, you do see, actually I say then forget the roadside, don't pay that too much. You still know the roadside, but you can compare with the shop. Look at that. When you look at the side, there are only 3 sides. But when you look at the marks, the joy, they have 5 types of joy. Or you could put that the 5 kind of big shops around. I just want to say it's more complicated to talk about the joy. To me, I'm sure if you come from a different culture, tradition, there's kind of very subtle language they use. Because since the Chinese do not have this language, and they also, especially culturally also, it has to do with, if I want to pick a long picture, culturally also in Theravada in general, they are free to enjoy the joy so much because of influence by the Mahasi system or any other system. They think this is bad, like even Goenkaji system. So if you talk that, people hate you also. That's why there's a lot of culture. But in Thai, that's why Thailand don't influence by that system. They have their own system. And they always believe that the joy is very important because that joy will take over you so that you will not have lust to sexual whatever for monk and you should be happy. Anyway, that's a different cultural way of talking and they have their own way of doing it. But we are learning Buddhism now. We have to be fair pictures what actually Buddha say in the text. This is how they are. Okay. Understand? Okay. If I always say you learn something stabilized, you could try the other. It's not very difficult, Just like you know how to come here now. Many times. Then I say, don't look at the side now, just look at the shop. Then you could do that. Right? No, it's okay. All right. But a lot of people learn Buddhism for a long time. They don't know this. That's why they argue something which I think, why you want to argue that? That's in the text. It's just only different system teaching. That's it. But some people say, oh, that's wrong. This is why. No, but this is why you want to learn Buddhism. Okay, the text. Learn what is a good thing. You don't argue those things. You just know it works the same way. Just different system or whatever. Traditional teacher teach that emphasis on that.
Culture.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. All right. At least then you know they are actually really mentioned in the Buddhist text. Some maybe not. You could argue, I don't know, but at least this is really mentioned in the Buddhist text. Okay. All right. Any other comments also? Yeah. No? Wow.
I have a question. Is there a different here dhyana in the first to fourth jhana?
No. Did they mention there the first jhana and the fourth jhana?
I mean the Buddha Gosas.
No.
Is
No,
four jhana, but then Asanga is only dhyana.
No, he just put it here actually. I think he should put it better. He should write the first dhyana, second dhyana, third and fourth. They are the same. Yeah. Anyone? No, any questions?
Well, I do have a. So if we practice the Asanga stage, then are we going to experience the joy as the Buddha Gosas description, or?
Yeah, if you want to. That's the reason why usually this kind of 9 stages of meditation, what you call the citta sthiti, the 9 stages, especially if you practice 4 immeasurable mind meditation, you don't base on the sight, but you only base on your mind quality.
Right.
It's very easy to use this technique. You just simply know the 9 stages go.
Right, but do we experience the joy?
No, let me finish that. That is only mind, right? The joy is what? Joy is feeling.
Body.
It's a feeling. But if you want to feel, you might feel it. But of course, when you learn, usually as a technique, we don't ask you to pay attention there. But people sometimes they come to ask me, I feel this body like this, like that. I will ask them, okay, put that aside. But I somehow knew what they are already.
Oh, so it's only the object.
Because it's certain is object. One object is more in here, limita. One object is more in the mental stage. One object is more in the physical feeling.
Oh, see.
You could say that way. Okay.
Got it.
But I think that these two, because the problem actually the first why I think I learned these 9 stages by myself, because I find actually you could do that, but I cannot explain. But luckily then when I read not this book, but when one day I read the Tibetan manual, then I find actually wow, you could really do that. You could try and see. So that simply, especially when you do the immeasurable mind, you don't base on the sight, but you base on your mind. So that's one
that's
way.
the part confusing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No any question, right? Or you feel boring? Some people feel very difficult. Or not exciting. Nobody feel exciting. Okay.
I think I feel excited about this because I came to do meditation without knowing all this, but now I think I have the
Clearly
concept.
pictures.
Yeah,
Okay.
what it could be like. So I think
Okay, good. Well, one other thing I need to say is that on the page 183, if you don't have question, on the 4th paragraph, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line, the spiritual niramisa joy, felt in meditation is contrasted by the tradition with the charnel, samisa, okay, carnal, okay? Basically, niramisa refer to purely the joys come from mentally, okay? Maybe best to understand that way so far. Samisa, there is kind of like the joy come from physical. So this is the reason why I also say we don't think that when the 5 stages of joy comes along with you, it's not samisa, it belongs to niramisa, the spiritual, okay? Even though it might be trigger your physical body, but it's simply is because of the consciousness become purer, and then that it will trigger your physical reaction. Okay. But usually we understand that samisa is a kind of like like somebody do a massage, you feel very nice, you do feel relaxed, very nice, wonderful. That is called the physical, not the spiritual, but more like the physical. Okay, understand? Because the physical comfortness trigger you. Okay, but that is because of consciousness, pureness, that trigger your joy. Okay, all right. So please remember the term. Sometimes this term in Chinese easily. Anyone know the Chinese term translation? Nobody read that. Nobody understand that actually when they read it. Anyone know? I don't know why the old translated Chinese that, but they do translate that word. Anyone know?
无爱染跟有爱染。
No, that is not. Actually, sometimes I don't think this book. I don't want to criticize now, but it's okay. No, that is not the old translation. The old Chinese translation in Agama, the Hanjin, what they use, Niramisa.
In?
No, yeah, you can guess. It's fine, but it's no. Just give you. So that's why when you read Chinese, be careful. Samisa they translate as. Niramisa they translate as. Yeah, it is.
That doesn't make any sense.
In the original language, amisa means meat.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's why I want to say that also too. Because amisa have something to do. The amisa relate to the meat. So the translation is that, but actually the meaning doesn't mean the meat, okay? Mean you eat or not eating. But it means
So 实喜无实喜.
Does samisa mean physical joy or just physical?
joy. That must be the joy there.
It's physical joy.
It must be the joy there.
Niramisa means mental joy.
It means without the physical joy. You could understand it that way. But the word amisa means meat. Meat, yeah. But in meditation, you must understand the term. Kind of like without something with the infusion of meat, kind of like physical give you comfort, or without that physical give you comfort, that simply like you abandon of the hindrances, right? Get it now? Like maybe in the old day, but that to do with the food. When you eat nice food, that feel like I joke once when I was still in Janya Monastery. Once we went to the restaurant, we have a CIA.
Yeah.
CIA is called what they call the Culinary International. What is that? CIA. Culinary Institute of America. It's not very far from Janya Monastery, about 40 minutes. 就是厨艺学校，美国厨艺学校 Canadian Institute of America. It's not that CIA. It's a CIA. Culinary. We went there. We pronounce it culinary. Okay, that's a British pronunciation, but culinary. And then and that place we went there, and there was I ordered food. So that was the first time I had that experience when I tasted like you're in the jhana.
That's not true.
No, really. I never had that experience before. I was like, 1 minute, 2 minutes, few minutes, I was like in a jhana.
What food?
I don't know, that is, I don't want to say what food. But that's called I want to say the food is so good, that it's so complicated. No, that's not complicated. Maybe so sophisticated, maybe you could say. That your brain is like, so you immediately have a slight joy, momentary joy, descending joy, and then transporting joy, and then you have this refuse the whole body, and then
And tremendous attachment too.
no, actually that's interesting. It's not. You see, then I went a few times. I didn't really have to order that. Like I'm really crazy for that. That's why. I mean, I this is just my it's like kind of like by. So I think that's from the samisa, with the meal, and then transform to niramisa. No, I have to, then, from that moment I realized why some people, even a kid or anybody, why they're so attached to that, because they might have a time, especially when they eat something suddenly at the moment. Of course, they must be with a joyful mind. That time I went there with a very, with a happy mind too. Then I didn't expect the food was so good. And with everything, combination is there. And then you have that. And imagine people, if they don't have meditation experience, of course, they will attach to that. They always want to look for that kind of feeling, of course. Right? Where is it? They go to one restaurant, to another restaurant, to that restaurant, to look for that kind of thing. Like one of my friends told me why he liked to drink wine. I remember when I was in England, he actually he's a rich kid. And then he said, a rare guest, because we were same university, but later on he moved to study in London University. So that's why I went to London and I stayed with him. And he said, "Do you want to drink nice wine?" He had, if the wine is not more than kind of like 100 pounds, he never buy. Always more than 100 pounds. Actually, in Europe, the wine is much cheaper than America. Over 100 pounds wine is mean a lot already. You know, usually 5 pounds, 4 pounds you can buy a wine. But I say no, I don't drink. So, but he was like, oh, he felt really anyway disappointed. But anyway, he gave me the best tea. That's why now I still attached to that tea. 就是大红袍. That's the red rope. He was the one who gave me. When I drink it, was like, what kind of tea it is? I never drank it before. He was surprised that I know tea, but I don't even know this kind of tea. Anyway, the long short story back, I asked him, so why do you want like to, you know, because we stayed there a few days, right? And I talked him. He told me actually he liked to drink not because of what he once he drink a wine. Of course, it's good wine. His father is quite rich, and he have a kind of like somewhere between like drunk or not drunk. I guess it's like a trance, right? Kind of like that. He was still chasing after that. He say, only that moment he had that kind of like a trance, but never he got it anymore. But you know, at that time I didn't. I'm a very humble person. If people don't ask me, I never teach. I never impose anything. And this is how I have friends, because some people don't like you. Especially people think you're a monk, and then you tell them something they don't like it too. You know, and also I'm happy if they ask me not to teach. It's fine, but I can learn something from them, their experience, what they think. Right? It's fine. It's good. Anyway. Yes. Yeah.
So this is saying that like all these different levels of joy are niramisa joy, not samisa joy converted then to niramisa joy, right?
Amisa mean the meal, right? No. But this is my explanation. I mean, what is meant by in Pali word mean the samisa and niramisa.
Right. So like all the like transporting joy, from slight joy to transporting joy, those are all niramisa joy, not
I think so.
samisa.
Okay.
Okay.
My understanding. Maybe some people could argue that too.
So even though like the joy you feel is in the body, but it's still a
No, because the joys come from your consciousness become much more purer. Not like because you have more attachment. You see, actually, when the people giving you a comfort massage, you might have more attachment. It can give you joy too, right? Yeah. Otherwise, why people are being hooked up by the joy, by the what do you call that? Not joy, that hooked up by this the pleasure or the clinging or attachment. It's because they give them happy. Nobody likes something unhappy, of course, right?
You never know. There's some weird people.
That's always they are actually, how to say, some people they like unhappy is because they sustain the unhappy. From that they find there's a delight within still, right? Even what called mass mojo, whatever in this term, like people are torture themselves, they want people to slash them. What do you call that?
Masochism.
I don't know, and begin with that, masochism like that. Yeah, they pain, but they feel the subsiding of pain, then feel nice. That's why they have a different way attached. They attach with that.
With a twist.
Yeah, with a twist, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, okay. So you know the word sa mean with, okay. Amisa mean, what was amisa? Is one term, right? In Pali. It mean with meat, right? Meat, sa mean with, right? With. But when you put it together, it means samisa. Become samisa. The word niri, it means without. Okay. So niri means without. So without amisa, right? Okay. Just it's a prefix mean without. Okay.
So is that a false translation then? Like to shi which means food?
No, it means you could say 有时 with food.
I just mean like
No, it's not. I mean, literally, that's the thing. I'm not sure why they translate this. Maybe if you want to translate the meaning, maybe you translate differently. But I just want to tell you, when you read Agama, don't be surprised this word is being translated 有时, okay? Because I was shocked, but I thought, oh, what it is? I check it, that means that. Because I know it's about meditation state, but why something to do with the food? But I just want to say the word actually sa means with, right? Sa means sa, but together when it becomes sa means sa. Nili means without, so nila means sa, okay? And this, when you do the four sublime abiding, the four foundations of mindfulness also, you need to understand that also. That your joy comes from samisa or niramisa also. When you meditate on the mind, So like you feel happy because your eyes see something nice, or you feel happy because just your mind pure. So like in the mindfulness of, four foundations of mindfulness. 就思念处, and then when you meditate on the mind, contemplate the mind, you have one this, samisa, ninamisa. Anyway, okay, now, so if no any further question or comments, we can leave the dhyana for, do we have a class next week? Because the dhyana is a little bit complicated. Yeah. Why don't we just, if it no, we can wrap up the class a little earlier, because I don't want to mix up the dhyana now, maybe best. But any other question or comment, anyone? Yeah. This subject actually is very, usually, I just want to say is that I know when I used to teach in a Buddhist college, I know that not many people can understand. That's why I like this book. It's very simple, the way to put it already. Yeah. I think it's well thought, the way he put it, well arranged and well thought in a very simple way. Any questions? Anything? Comment? No? Everyone want to go back now because of full moon festival?
That was yesterday.
I don't know which day. I just know some say yesterday, like Thursday, some say Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
So, like in the 5 stages of joy, so like when we do the signs, we start paying attention to the sign when they appear. Like if you do 5 stages of joy to get to active concentration, like say if you start with like looking at a disc of something, or you start with like visualizing this person's image, then like do you like as soon as you feel the slight joy, do you then like just go pay attention to that joy?
No, I say no. I want to say this way, if you just meditate on the joy, depends on your stage. If you're a beginner, you might feel something like what he said in the beginning. There's a description about the Thai monk say something that when the joy arises is very strong. Because when you pay attention on the joy, you're kind of like enhancing the joys. And the joy becomes really tremendous, big and wild. I guess that it's not something I like, but some other culture like it. So you feel like the joy is so profound, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And then, but if you have a jhana already, I don't mean jhana. Let's say you might have the meditation up to the stage like, the meditation kind of like, let's say you have at least the acquired side, sometimes come to the counterpart side, very close to counterpart side, and when you aware of joy, it's still very calm. Okay, you get it now? It's not the way that you like a scientific measurement. It's more like you might have a slight joy. You think, oh, now I meditate. Let's say I do loving kindness meditation, and then or breath meditation. I feel the slight joy, but because you're observing the joy almost like when you do it vipassana, then you of course you know that it should be more than that. Then the joy will become like aggravated.
So at that point you're not paying attention to your breathing.
You pay attention on breathing. You pay attention on the both things. Just like you pay attention on the breathing, whether you see there's a sign comes along or not. And this is also a bigger area. This is the reason why I think it's much more complicated too. And I think, as I say, I don't think it's not because you can try yourself, you know what I mean. And then your joy will become, wow, this, and then it might be good. You can sit 1 hour, but anyway, you have a different experience. But still, you need to become a suffused joy is very light, very, how to say? I don't know how to say. It's like very, very, very simple. But that's the reason why it's very difficult to describe that. If you want to learn that system, you have to go that system, and you might go through a little big kind of emotional joy goes on. But if you are going this part, this tool, we usually think is much more calm down, right? Yeah. Okay. You get it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Just want to share a personal experience.
Mm.
Like when you mentioned the food and like the kind of like heavenly feeling, I remember that once I had a dream, maybe it's a dream or something I feel is very real. Like I just thought that I was in the tunnel, very long and dark tunnel. I flew very fast, all the way like shooting star, and reached to a very peaceful and very dark space, all very like, very wide. I don't know, like maybe the universe or something. And then I was like floating and reached that kind of feeling. And but in that at that time I thought I want to keep that stage. I don't want to come back to the real life anymore. And I saw a light very far away, a very bright light and very small light. And I want to see through what's over there, and then I woke up. And since then, I've been wanting to, go back to that kind of feeling.
I think it may.
On the bed, can I go into that kind of tunnel?
I guess if you can combine the two when you do meditation, you just have to be real. You must learn the method really, without have a second thought about the method. Like you just do it without second thought. Like what is next? What is next? You just don't need that. You just become like naturally, right? If you could do the method like naturally, the steps naturally, and then relax as you just like you say you're in the sleeping.
I was sleeping at that time.
I know. I mean, you need to learn to relax, like almost like it's there or not. Where it's there or not, it's fine.
Should I lie down and try to sleep to do that, or should I sit down?
No. You need to do all posture, but don't forget, even meditation, lie down is one of the posture. But you cannot just rely on the lying down.
Yeah, it's been 4 years.
I mentioned that already. When you do the lying down posture, one helpful thing is because you could easily relax. My experience, my first time really the firm nimitta appear is when I lie down. I try the whole 2 days trying to do the nimitta. It's there, but it goes. It's there, it's go. It maybe stay just for like 20-30 minutes. It goes. But when I say the clear one, is very different. So and then I just feel like tired. Anyway, I went to bed quite early. I think maybe 9 or 8 o'clock. I think I felt very tired. So I just lie there and then I close my eyes. Then nimitta was just really there, stay. And stay for. I just lie there for how long or whatever. Then I know the trick basically mean because I lie there, I still care about the nimitta. You know what I mean? I still care about the technique. I lie. I want to sleep. Because I'm really tired, but then I also think about the method, and it just appear because that moment I don't care anything. I don't know how to say. I have the object in my mind, but I don't push myself into that.
Just let it happen.
Just let. Yeah. You just don't. Yeah, just let it loose out that, and then it's very clear there. I was like surprised. I knew, wow. Yeah, and then of course I don't want to say much further, but then I can. But I still sleep. Luckily I didn't become like agitated. You could become here mentioned, or you become really so happy you meditate and then it's gone. No, I just sleep. Then when I wake up, it's there. So I just really like. You learn the mind, let it relax. Okay. So, yeah.
But I think that dream that you had, to me, is saying that you have the spark. You have that ability. That's what it says to me.
Yeah, that's why I say you combine the two.
Yeah.
Because what your description is almost same as when you have that experience in the jhana.
Yes.
Some sort of jhana.
Yes.
It also sounds near-death experiences.
That's why I say the near-death experiences, jhana, why it's so important, the nimitta, is because when you're near death, usually you're based on your karma. Your karma means your past karma. But this is also your past karma, but you can use your mind to bring this past karma appear. Your past karma means your meditation, right? You bring it, limit appear, so you don't let this other past karma to interfere you. Just like what you're doing meditation now. When you do your meditation, what do? You will start to think about what I'm doing today and later what I'm going to do, right? You stop that karma. You create another kind of action. That is your meditation action, right? So the same thing when you're near the experience, you don't let this what this comes in terms of samadhi, you let your karma, your own karma become present to you. That's what we call Ditti Dharma, the right there. The Dharma has become right there. Ditti means actually you can see it and it's right there. Usually it becomes there, and then you say, okay, I want to born to which heaven. Say that we are going to talk in the next topic, the dhyana. If you have, then it will appear. Then you would, because your mind will not allow any karma interfere you already. Okay, let's say maybe just somebody beside you. That time when you're near death, I hate you. I want you to go to hell. Normally, maybe get very angry. I treat you so well. I give you a lot, but why you want to say that? But that time you don't care. You're on your own nimitta, right? Your own karma is working. You would not be conditioned by the other karma. Get it now? By the outside other interfere your mind. That's the reason why you need to learn samadhi also. At least you know where you want to born, where you want to go. Okay, get it now? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for today's class. I think next week I hope that we can have much more interesting discussion also.
This was
Right.
wonderful.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Transfer marriage. Hello.
Chirang rakhantu sasanam, chirang rakhantu desanam, chirang rakhantu mangaranti.
All right. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.